Consciousness Experiment, May 22nd through 28th, 2011. We're holding the status quo, just staying up there at 4 events a week, and seriously having the feeling put through to me that the readiness for an increase is here. So these next few coming weeks, we'll see. One of the things that I've been dealing with very strongly this week is finding a balance between having sufficient momentum and impetus behind me to continue to at an increased rate, so events happen regularly, daily, at any time during the day, whether I'm laying down in a formal practice session or out and about living my day. And not being attached to the results of the experiment at the same time. This week I found myself getting very attached to the results of the experiment, and for these 2.5 days, things came to a halt when I was definitely getting the feeling, there's a certain feeling and atmosphere in me that arises when things are about to happen, and this was present, but due to this attachment, I found myself also feeling things did not happen on those days. And so I've got my eye open. I was sitting with it. I was able to let go of the attachment, and the next 2 days, very rapidly things happen really. But I was able to let go of the attachment, and the next couple days were just off the charts. I'll talk about that later. The other thing that's happening this week, that's coming right to the front of my attention, is that, as I'm involved again in consciously shifting from, I'm struggling with the right word here, just, from my day reality where I call myself conscious, my shifting is changing. It's changing to include more. Before, I myself would do the majority of the shifting. I would shift from here to there. But there's another way to shift as well, and that's when the environment itself shifts. And this is amazing. This has always been very challenging for me to remain conscious through. I have on many occasions done it, but on 10 times more lost conscious awareness through this type of shift, and it's coming back into the fore. And with this type of shift, it's seamless. It's almost like there is no middle. There is no, I'm here in my room, now I'm shifting, now I'm there somewhere else. It's like one moment I'm here, and almost in that same moment I'm somewhere else. It's fast, or it can be. It's much faster than myself shifting from here to there. Another thing is that I'm not always shifting from here to there. I'm shifting from here to here and there. And when it's this type of shift, and it's the environment that's shifting, it is just so seamless that most often, consciousness is lost. But again, this is coming to the fore. This is happening more and more. I'm able to stay conscious through this type of shift more and more. And this is the one that I feel is super important to me, being able to shift at will anytime, is being able to shift in this fashion. So we'll see what happens as this also continues its evolution. I participated in another healing this week. I'm really growing to love these. These bring me so much joy, energy, a feeling like I'm necessary. You know, that there's a reason for me being here. This definitely feels it. So it's interesting how these, how I'm invited to participate in these, and so I think I'll just like put this through to you because, and just to myself, just to note it here. First, I'm given digital time codes as the message. I'm either given the digital time code of 412, which is my birthday, a period of gifts, or 1225, Christmas, another time of gift giving. And what I'm seeing right now, that there's a difference between the healing that will happen with a 412 invitation and with a 1225 invitation. It's fairly simple as far as I can see. The 412 is my birthday. It's a single person receiving a gift. And Christmas is you know, a mass event. Everybody celebrates it. Everybody gives gifts. And so the 1225 invitation is an invitation into a mass healing session. I just received an invitation to one of these at 12:25 this afternoon and agreed to participate, and I'm looking forward to gleaning anything that I can from it. With the individual healings that are for a specific person and a specific ailment or dis-ease or trouble area or stuck spot, it's a bit heart pounding, really, actually. Okay, so for these I'm given the 412 code. I was given the 412 code yesterday, agreed to participate in the healing, and immediately afterwards, what will happen is I will begin feeling in my body the area where the healing is to take place. And so directly after agreeing to it yesterday, I begin feeling like something is stuck in my throat, and just really begin coughing and hacking and drinking water and doing just anything I can to get this feeling down. This is the first 15 minutes of it. And, you know, then realizing, oh, okay, wait a minute. This is the healing I just agreed to participate in. And it was very clear to me that this was a healing with my care client, who for the past couple weeks has had a persistent cough. And maybe an hour or so later after this, I begin feeling a very strong tightness in the areas surrounding my lungs. And so I realized that this is a healing for her throat and lungs. And because the lungs are brought into it, and because I understand Shorty's situation, I understand that this is going to be a challenging one. This is going to be really hard. So I asked the energies for assurance that I'll be kept under deep in the night as this process is taking place, and they give me a yes. They say they'll keep me deep. And so I went into the night, fell asleep immediately, which I will tell you never happens anymore. Has not happened since my awakening process began. And so, you know, this was nice assurance that the word was going to be kept. I have not at this point felt inclined to ask to be kept conscious or lucid from within during one of these events. I have been conscious before. I've been held conscious in the night into the awareness of my physical body as the energies are flowing through, and it is intense. I mean, I realize how intense it is. I could ask to be held conscious from within, where I would be and in a non-physical environment, experiencing this in perhaps a different way. I again have not opted for this because these are challenging as well. It's not delightful. It's not fun. I do have to acclimate myself to the process and the things that I will be put through and seen, during these healings before I ask for this. So right now I'm asking to be kept under pretty deep while it happens. Now the 1225, the mass healing sessions, this is where I might begin to get some actual experience staying conscious from within and non-physical realms during these events. Because this would be a lot different, my oversoul, soul, higher self energies would be here with me, and I've experienced this, I know this, and so I wouldn't have the pain, the discomfort, the fear, the agony that happens, when I'm not directly experiencing the event from within the totality of our energy. But we'll see where this goes. There's a 1225 for tonight, so perhaps during the day I will ask to participate consciously in this event so that I can glean more data and more detail and be able to share these with others who are also doing similar work. My highlight experience this week. Well, the highlight ones are always pretty wow, but this one was right up there. I've not been put in a situation like I was put in, not last night, but the night before last, ever. The event was an all-night event. I began consciously shifting into the etheric almost immediately, and I had 2 OBEs fully long in length by 12:30 in the morning. A lot of things coming through about the shift. I will link to the written write-up of this experience down below, and you can read it in detail at your leisure. What I will say about this is that the night before it happened, just before I wake, I received this message from a non-physical person in the scenario that I was in, that tonight, the coming night, was going to be a shout out to my dad and to remember. And so I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, and just in case there was an event in the next night that I was able to bring through that involved my dad, I would have that for myself to look back on. And the event that happened in the highlight event did very much include my dad, which just tells me that the communication between me and the non-physical helpers or layers of my being is improving. It's becoming more factual, more real, and that's a very good sign for me. That's very good to know for me. In this event, the very striking part of it was that I projected into a car on the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, I know there's many bridges right there in San Francisco, in the San Francisco area of California. I'm not 100% sure this was the Golden Gate Bridge, but it definitely was one of the bridges in San Francisco. And I'm watching these large projectiles fall from the sky and crash into the ocean, just repeatedly, one after the other. And I'm looking off to the right to begin with, but I look over to the left and I see they're falling here. And now the bridge itself starts to move. The water beneath it is swelling up into a tsunami. And the water is rising until there's just this wall of water in front of me, just maybe 100 yards, 200 yards, I don't know, very close in front of me. And I'm just devastated. I'm feeling this absolutely in my body. I'm feeling my heart drop. I'm feeling all of my blood drop down to my feet. I'm going in a shock. And in the midst of this, watching this wall of water, I realize fully, and just say out to myself, I'm in a projection. I'm in a projection. And, you know, just seconds later, the wall of water hits all of us and we go under. And underneath the water, I mean, this all happens so fast that under the water, I'm having to prove to myself that it's a projection by deliberately taking a breath, and I can breathe, I can breathe, I can breathe. I keep saying this to myself, I can breathe. I'm still trying to calm from the shock just prior to it happening. And you know, I can hear the sounds of the other people under the water and sounds from cars. And I'm not keying in on anything in particular, just the sounds in general. But from here I now shift onto an airplane where there's an elderly couple, and the woman is relaying the tale of the event I was just in. I mean, you know, the whole experience, everywhere I shifted into a larger picture of what was happening, concentric circles of a larger view of the event that I was just in. And you know, I have no idea what it all means yet, still very clearly absorbing. More events will come through in relation to it, I'm sure. And if you have any ideas, read the written log and let me know.